What's up, you guys? This is OffTopicGames here with another deck profile for you guys. Sorry that we missed the one for last week. We were kind of busy and I just didn't upload one. So here we have one today. I hope you guys all had a good Christmas and then upcoming New Year's. And yeah, so let's get started. This is the, sorry, this is not the Vanguard, it's, if I said that, it's Vermillion. Yep. So for our starter, we run Seishin, Counterblast 1. When the card that this unit boosted hit, you can put this card into Soul, Counterblast 1, and then retire a grade 0. So basically, you just get rid of pesky starters like TikTok or, I don't know, Spring Breeze Messenger, or whatever you want to retire, basically. For the main guy we run for the Legion, it's a Dragonic Kaiser Crimson. Again, I said this is the Vermillion build, so for the Legion, only 2 of the grade 3 Vermillion. Sorry, what the Legion does is it Legions with the Vermillion, and then once per turn, then break 4 skill. You can choose one of the Legion's axe skill, and then it loses the cost but gains the ability. So basically, you choose him when you Legion, and then you can swing at the entire front row for free. And then axe skill, Soul Blast 1. If you have another card, another unit in the middle column, this unit gets plus 2,000 to the end of the turn. It's not a once per turn effect, so you can use it as much as you want, as long as you can pay the cost. So yeah, 4 of these and 2 of the mates. And then 2 Vanquishers, because you don't really need 4 of the mate, and then Vanquisher is a pretty good card. It did get support in GP209, so that's kind of why we're running it. Preferably, it's better if you ride this card than Vermillion himself, but you know, it depends on the situation. What it does is, it's a GB2 skill. When your opponent's rear guard is placed into the drop zone, due to the effect of one of your cards, this unit gets plus 3,000 in a crit. It's an auto skill. It can activate more than once. It's not very good, but it's a skill that you probably won't ever use, but you can. The next skill is Counterblast 1. During your turn, when a unit strides on this card, you can pay the cost, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, retire it, and then bind it face up. For our grade 2s, we run for the really strong grade 2 for Narukami, Chitura. It has a continuous skill. It cannot attack a rear guard, so it has to attack a Vanguard. And then continuous during this turn, your turn, this unit gets plus 3,000. And the auto skill, when it hits, you can Counterblast 1 to draw a card, and then choose a card from your opponent's drop zone and bind it face up. So you can bind like heal triggers, unflipper PGs, or like grade 1s for ritual or something. It's a very good card. Next we run for Martial Arts Dragon. I really like this card actually. What it does is on ride you can Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on the rear guard, on the Vanguard circle specifically, you can pay the cost to Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and retire one of your opponent's front row, and then they bind it face up. And then the second skill is continuous Thunderstrike 2. During your turn, this unit gets plus 3,000, so it's 12k attacker for Thunderstrike 2 GB1. So I personally really like this card. You can almost say that it may be a staple in almost every Narukami deck. I don't know. Chitura is for sure, but this card I really like because it stops aggression if possible, and it's a 12k attacker, so whatever. For Thunderstrike 2. Yeah. Again, I'm not actually sure, because this isn't my deck, so I'm not too sure what other cards you can run, but this card is pretty good. Next, we run 3 Voltage Horns. Voltage Horn is, when this card is boosted and attacks the Vanguard, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, your opponent chooses one of the rear guards, retires it, and binds it face up, so pretty good. It helps activate your Thunder Strikes, and your opponent kills a card. Next, for grade 1s, we run 4 Anastasia, whatever. It's the Unflipper PGs. Deck somewhat Counterblast a decent amount. It depends on what you ride and stuff, but it's Unflippers, so it's nice. 4 Mighty Bolt. It's the Stride Fodder, and it searches for Vanquisher on call. 4 of the Vermillion grade 1 Crown Holder Dragon. What it does is, when your Vanguard with Kaiser in its card name hits, you can choose up to one of your other units, and then this unit and that unit gets plus 2,000. So it does activate multiple times if you're like Vanguard with Vermillion in his name swings at multiple things, or Kaiser in his name. That's actually very important. So basically, if you go into, or if you use the effect to attack the front row and it hits 3 times, you use this effect 3 times. Next we run to the new card from GB209, Dragon Dancer Fatine. I actually really don't like this card. This deck isn't like, it's kind of in the testing phase. Not the best, like not super competitive, but it's interesting. What this card does is Thunderstrike 2. When this unit is placed in the rearguard circle, you may pay the cost to Soul Blast 1, draw a card. So basically, Thunderstrike 2, Soul Blast 1, draw a card on call. Personally, I'd rather run Rising Phoenix because even though it's Soul Blast 2 and 5k, it can be activated whenever you want. This one normally will be activated a little bit later in game because of the Thunderstrike 2 effect. And even though it's Soul Blast 1, it's a 6k, it's, I don't know, sometimes it's just a vanilla 6k and I don't really like that. But up to you. This is what we're currently running because it was in the deck already. But yeah. For triggers, for the Vanquisher crit, we are running Vanquisher himself and Voltage, as you can see here. So that's why we're running him. Basically, on Vanguard attack, if you have Vanquisher card in the Vanguard circle, Soul Charge plus 5k and draw a card. Next we run 4 Djinns, so 8 crits total. This card is the Twin Soul, give unit plus 3000 power. It's not a vanilla, so we run it, and then the names don't really matter. 4 draw triggers because it's Narukami, and you kind of need draw triggers. You need some type of card advantage, so that's why you run draw triggers. You could run 7-5. That's up to you. We're currently running 4 draws, and then 4 heals. This is the trap heal. Don't know why he's running it, but whatever. It's the trap heal. For our strides, it's kind of debatable, the stride G zone, but this is what we're running. So 2 voltage. What it does is axe skill, you can flip himself, and then it gets the Zora skill. So if it hits, your opponent chooses a card to retire, and then 2 of their cards from the bind zone, 2 of the cards from their drop zone gets bound face up. And then it also has a GB3 skill, which you probably won't ever use, but during your turn, all of your units in the front row get plus 3000 for each card in the bind zone. So we normally use this as a first stride because it's kind of like Zoras, and it also gives us access to VMAX. Next we run 4 Conquest because Conquest is a good card. It's an axe skill once per turn. You can flip himself up. Basically GB2, you retire one of your opponent's front row, and then your front row gets plus 5,000 power for each empty rearguard circle face in the front row. So if they have no front row, your front row gets plus 10,000. If they have 1 front row, it gets plus 5,000, and so forth. Then we run 4 warnings. What it does is Counterblast 1, choose himself, turn it face up, axe skill. When this unit attacks, it battles the entire front row, and then for every time this card hit, it gives 2 units plus 5,000. So it doesn't have to be a front row, it can be an entire lane if you want. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but yeah, it's pretty good. We're running 1 VMAX because Thunderstrike 5 is kind of hard, but it's really good for the other skill. So what it does is GB3, Counterblast 2, Thunderstrike 5. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked Vanguard, if your opponent has no rearguards, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and deal damage to it, so you can possibly just kill the opponent. Yeah, it's pretty good, but the second skill is what we really use it for in this specific deck. Basically, when this unit attacks, for every face-up, choose one of your opponent's rearguard for each face-up card with Vanquisher in its card name and in the G zone, and then this unit battles the Vanguard and then those units that were chosen. So basically we have two Vanquishers, Voltage specifically, use this, and you have 2 face-ups, so you choose 2 rearguards to attack and the Vanguard. Pretty good, that's what we mainly use it for. We can get rid of pesky back row units because this deck can't really choose back row units to retire other than Voltage Horn, kind of, not really, because you can't choose it, and then Vanquisher, or Voltage himself, which needs your opponent chooses as well if it hits. We run 1 Sabreeze because Sabreeze is not a bad card. You get access to your GB skills, and we do run Vanquisher and stuff. And we do want to punish your opponent for having, for not riding, basically. For G-Guards, we run one of the Virtua, it's an old card, or one of the older G-Guards, plus 5,000 for Thunderstrike 1. Thunderstrike is somewhat hard in this deck, but it's possible, so 20,000 free shield is 20k shield is pretty nice. This is debatable. We run 2 of these guys. It's the new one from GBTO9. Thunderstrike 3 plus 10,000, and then at the end of the battle that this unit is placed in the Guardian Circle, for every 4 cards in the opponent's bind zone, choose up to 1 rear guard that's in rest and then retire it in the front row. So I kind of like the free shield possibly. It doesn't always activate, but I kind of like it, so that's why I'm running 2. And then 1 Dismo because Dismo is nice and it kind of helps against the VMAX matchup. It really depends, but it's nice. So yeah, that's the basic deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. And then yeah, if you did, you can like the video and then subscribe for more content. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or like improvements for this deck, please leave them down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all later.